So Benjamin Netanyahu, aka Bibi, recently said in an interview that he doesn't really believe that Americans have stopped supporting Israel. He said that actually all of those people on social media who are complaining about Israel and saying that, oh, I'm from Texas, but I've lost my support for Israel, blah, blah, blah. He said they're all from Pakistan and they're just bots, farm bots from Pakistan filling social media and trying to turn Americans against Israel. But even before we get to that, he also did comment on the progress of the war with Iran. And so the interviewer asked him what he thinks about the ending of the war. And he said that the war's not over yet. Project Epic Fury is not over yet because the uranium in Iran has to be retrieved. And the interviewer asks him, so how do we do this? How is this supposed to be done? Is it going to be the Israeli military or the US military going to retrieve the uranium? And Netanyahu says he does not want to comment on the military, but he just knows that someone has to go in physically and get the uranium. And he said that Trump told him that that was going to happen, which then leaves questions about whether Netanyahu expects the US military to be the ones to go into Iran and retrieve the uranium, or whether it's going to be the Israeli military, or both.
Mr. Prime Minister, good to see you.
Good to be with you.
Is the war with Iran over? And if it isn't, who will decide when it is?
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium that has to be taken out of Iran. There's still enrichment sites that have to be dismantled. There's still proxies that Iran supports. There are ballistic missiles that they still want to produce. Now, we've degraded a lot of it, but all of that is still there, and there's work to be done.
President Trump, this war cannot end until all those things are eliminated.
Well, certainly we want to get the nuclear material out. We certainly want to get the enrichment sites dismantled. We've curbed a lot. We've degraded a lot of the missile production sites, but the agreement should cover all these areas, including the proxies. Can it end with, as President Trump has led now, a blockade and economic pressure on them to do it with non-military means? Fine. If it can be accomplished, why not? But if not, both the United States and Israel, we both agree, President Trump and I, that if necessary, we can re-engage them militarily if it's necessary.
If it's necessary. How do you envision the highly enriched uranium will be removed from Iran?
You go in and you take it out.
With what? Special forces from Israel, special forces from the United States working in tandem under international supervision? How?
Well, I'm not going to talk about military means, but what President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. He said that publicly. He said it, and I think he's right. He's very committed to this. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
What if there isn't an agreement? Can it be taken out by force?
Well, you're going to ask me these questions. I'm going to dodge them. So you can ask me that second time, third time, and I'll dodge it second time, third time. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to talk about our military possibilities, plans, or anything of the kind. Mm-hmm. And I think you understand that.
I do understand that. But it's of great concern to the American people and the people of Israel how long this will take. And absent an agreement, what kind of things should they prepare for?
I think the most important thing for people to understand in America and in Israel, I think they do understand it, but for in the world, in Europe, you have to understand Iran that declares not merely death to Israel, but death to America. That's what they want to achieve. They don't not only want to kill Americans, which they have, killed and wounded them by the thousands, burned up your embassies, killed your Marines, burned your flags, tried to assassinate the President of the United States and some of your chief officials several times. They're committed to destroy America. They say that, okay? Their commitment involved their plans over the years to build nuclear bombs and the means to deliver them to the United States. They were very close to developing a nuclear bomb, okay? Very close. In fact, if we hadn't done the 2 military operations that we did, they'd have a bomb within now or within a month or two. Now, you don't want a fanatic regime like that, that hates America, that has no compunction of murdering its own citizen, murdering and wounding tens of thousands of its own citizens. You don't want them to have nuclear weapons. That's what prompted President Trump and me to go out and stop them, prevent them from having that.
And I'm just trying to get at how long is it going to take to achieve that aim?
I'm not going to give a timetable to it, but I'm going to say that's a terrifically important mission, because you don't want Iran to have ballistic missiles to reach any city in the United States with nuclear warheads, because no American would be safe. And I think President Trump understood that from the start. I know that he understood that from years of discussion with this.
So in the comments, you tell me what you think about his statement. But yeah, so Netanyahu said basically the war's not over until we get the uranium, and someone's going to have to go in there physically and get it. And Trump has promised him that that's going to happen. And then on the issue of the relationship between the Americans and Israel, he said, don't worry about it. It's just the bots. Americans are all good with Israel and no bad blood.
And what is happening in some parts of Western society, it looks like it's taken over a lot of Western Europe and some parts of the United States. Fighting the bad people is bad. In other words, we have seen the deterioration of the support for Israel in the United States almost, I would say it correlates almost 100% with the geometric rise of social media. And that by itself is not what caused it. And I don't believe in censoring them or anything, but I'll tell you what happened. We have several countries that basically manipulated social media with bot farms, with fake addresses, to break the American sympathy to Israel, to break the American-Israeli alliance, because they think it's in their interests. And they do it in a clever way. It's like you hear a text message. I'm a red-blooded Texan. I always supported Israel, but I can't stand what they're doing. I'm turning against Israel. And then you trace the address to some basement in Pakistan, And that's something that has hurt us badly. While we were fighting the physical military battle on 7 battlefields, 7-front war, we were completely exposed on the 8th front, the media war, really the social media war. And, we've been busy, so we haven't seen that while they're attacking us with the equivalent of F-35s, we're trying to fight them with the Polish cavalry. It's like, it's almost what happened in World War II. So I think we have to engage on that front, not by censorship, but by finding ways that are applicable to democracies. We can't do what these authoritarian regimes do, but finding ways to fight the battle for the hearts and minds of young Americans on the social media. And that we have to do, absolutely. We have a problem, I recognize it, and we have to get our act together.
Do you in any way consider yourself responsible for that problem?
No, because I don't think that they're not only attacking Israel. They're attacking America. They're attacking America. They're trying to create ruptures within America, not only between America and Israel, but between Americans and Americans. They're trying to say...
Foreign Operation bot farms.
Enormous ones. And also getting to your universities, getting to your academic curricula, doing all sorts of things.
That is a true scenario. But do you believe that's the only explanation, or is it possible that some Americans have come to a different sense of Israel?
Yes.
Because of the last 2 or 3 years?
Well, there's no
organically
question.
And through their own
you can track
inquiry?
It. You can track it, actually. No, I think what they see is so many falsifications and vilifications that are unfounded. But they don't know, because they just get it, They just get the last reel in the movie. They don't see the entire movie. But I'll tell you what happens. We saw that several years before the Gaza war, which definitely caused us a lot of damage because it was mispresented. But I'll tell you what, it was like the Gaza war was pouring kerosene on a fire that was already there. We could see that happening. We didn't understand it initially. We didn't see it when it started going down. We didn't understand, why is it going down? What's happening here? Before the Gaza war. But now we know a lot. We know a lot. And there's that 8th front. But it's not only our front. It's also your front. You know, so many of Americans, young people, say they're not proud to be Americans. I think they should be proud. I mean, without America, we wouldn't have this generation of freedom. You wouldn't have the free societies that we have, the free civilization that we have. I think that this is a challenge that not only faces the American-Israeli relationship, it challenges the way America sees itself.
So I would be curious to know what you think, especially if you're an American. Do you agree with this or do you feel otherwise? He also did talk about the support of the US to Israel, the money that usually the US sends to Israel. And he commented that Israel usually receives $4 billion from the US Congress every year.
Do you believe it's time for the state of Israel to re-examine and possibly reset its financial relationship to the United States, meaning what the United States provides to Israel on an annual basis?
Absolutely. And I've said this to President Trump. I've said it to our own people. Their jaws dropped. But I said, look.
Well, what do you mean? What are you saying?
What I'm saying is that I want to draw down to zero the American financial support, the financial component of the military cooperation that we have, because we receive $3.8 billion a year. Now, it's true you spend trillions of dollars or hundreds of billions and billions of dollars in Afghanistan and so on. And one of your senators said, hell, if we had in Israel instead of Afghanistan, over there, we wouldn't have to spend $1 trillion. It'll be a lot cheaper. But I'm saying it's going to be a lot cheaper because I want to draw down the American support for Israel to zero. We've come of age. We have a booming economy. After 3 years of war, our currency is the strongest it's ever been in the last 50 years, maybe more. Our stock market is one of the leading stock markets in the world. It's because we have this very high-tech juggernaut economy, one of the two centers of cross-discipline, breaking technologies, just changing the world. And we have a lot of talent here, which we share with our American friends, and we're going to share it with our Arab friends too. And I think that it's time that we weaned ourselves from the remaining military support and go from aid to partnership. So I want to draw it down, and then I want to suggest projects, joint projects for intel, for weapons, for missile defense. Israel, I think, is a leader in this in the world. Many countries come to us for it. I'd like to share it with the United States. We put an exact amount of money. You put the same. We share the fruits exactly.
So again, guys, leave your thoughts below.